I am Iyori Folari. My guest this morning, straight off the bat, first of all, we got Barrister Ubani, who is chair of MBA Ikeja branch. You people don't use chapters.
We don't. Just branch. Chief, thank you. Good morning.
Monday, you're not going to start that again. Just Iyori, as you know. And, Idowu Ajanaku, the man is, he's a strategist, he's a spokesman, he's an information specialist. He's also an observer of the polity and a commentator of public affairs. Thank you very much for coming on too, Idowu. Well, two things, really caught my attention. Well, one of them is, Obasanjo's letter. That one is still kicking up some dust. Let's leave that for the moment. One of the reasons I'm very happy to have you on your Kachi is the quashing of, the Supreme Court's quashing of Bode George's conviction late last week. And since then, of course, the former PDP Southwest chairman has been waxing philosophical that, look, it's a matter of time, good will always triumph and all of that. Now, tell me, please, Monday, how does that happen? How does a person go through the processes of the law, go to jail, complete his sentence, and then only come out for the Supreme Court to now say, you know what, it was wrong. There was no such law. The law under which he was convicted was unknown to Nigerian law at the time. Explain it to us.
Well, it was also shocking to me when I heard the news that he has been discharged and acquitted by the Supreme Court. Yes. The Supreme Court is supreme because his decision is final. There is no further appeal to any other authority known under it.
One moment, please. I understand that, and we try to follow it, even as we are as unlearned as we are. We try to follow that.
Yes.
But how does it happen that a person goes to jail, completes the sentence, before this same temple of justice now says it was wrong?
Yeah. The point is that if you are convicted at a lower court, if you want to appeal, then you will appeal and then bring a motion for stay of execution.
Okay.
Now, if the court does not grant that stay of execution, it then means that you have to serve the sentence.
Okay.
Are you following me? Yes. So he tried all the stays in order for him not to go to jail until the appellate decision is known, but they refused all that. And so that's why and then the terms, was just 2 years. And the processes of that, just 2 years. Well, just 2 years.
For a big man.
And of course, he wouldn't have even served the maximum 24 months, so usually less than that. But the point is that while his appeal was pending, he served out that sentence. Because of the fact that the appellate court is very busy. There are so many other cases, they are handling. So that's why his was not determined before he served out his term. And so now that he has finished his term, and the Supreme Court now pronounces that he wasn't guilty in the first place, that it was a wrong conviction. It then means he can never bear the toga of ex-convict. The law now takes him as if he never committed that offense.
Because it was quashed.
He was quashed.
And then when you quash something in law, it is deemed not to
happen in the first place. So he is now never to be branded as convict, only probably in the minds of people who still see him as wearing that probably the prison cloth. But let me say this, that decision was very shocking. It is very, very rare the Supreme Court, to quash a decision of body lower and that of the appellate, that's Court of Appeal, especially if that court has taken time to listen to the evidence of the witnesses, look at the demeanor, take into cognizance whether this one is a liar or a truthful witness. Is very, very rare. So concurrent findings of fact are usually not disturbed by the Supreme Court. But in this particular case, they did. And we're going to look into what actually transpired because it's very key. I had to call one of the protagonists, the person that led this particular case up to Supreme Court, that is Mr. Keyamo. I called him because there were issues that were not too clear to me when the Supreme Court was mentioning the issue of contract splitting, that it was unknown in law
Yes.
at that point in time. So my question to Kemo was, what was the charge? You know, was it contract splitting that you charged Mr. Bode George? And he told me that that was not true.
Okay. I want to come back to you, Mandy. Thank you very much for that. Now, you and I have heard it from the position of the law. Bode George was charged with corruption. The EFCC has actually put out a statement that it's, without wanting to go into the details of the matter, it is disappointed. That was the discreet language it had used. And that in another case where the EFCC has been sort of slapped, so to speak, the case of El Rufai and one other, they said they were going to appeal that one. You can't appeal the Supreme Court one, but they were going to appeal this one. Now, how does it grab you as, you know, an ordinary Nigerian just observing the polity? We've heard it from the position of the law, and understandably, the chair of the MBA Keja branch himself, a legal officer, was circumspect in his language. How did you see that whole announcement that Bode George actually was wrongfully convicted? It has been quashed, and he himself has said that he gives God all the glory and thanks his wife Roli for enduring with him, and
thanked President Jonathan.
And thanks President Jonathan. There you go.
Well, just like you said, when the news broke out, many people were shocked. But if you look at the trend of what is going on in our country, particularly at this period, you will not also be shocked, because we felt that just like you said, even, let me say this very quickly, that I try as much as possible to go through the charges and the layman's emphasis about this contract splitting.
Yes.
Even the act, maybe the 1979 act, you know, like I went through, it is an offense for you to split contracts.
Yeah, but the man was charged with corruption, of which contract splitting was a part, and the Supreme Court found that there was no evidence brought before it that the man intended to be corrupt.
You see, like you said, this issue was looked at the lower court. It was also looked at the appeal court.
But it didn't get it well.
It didn't get it well.
Yes.
That the Supreme Court, but just like you said, when the Supreme Court makes a pronouncement, you are bound by it, because that is
because in effect, the Supreme Court is like the ultimate, the headmaster.
Yes.
They correct any errors in judgment that have happened below.
Yes.
So we can say that the Supreme Court has corrected the mistakes that were made, one by the appellate court and two by the origination court.
Yes, when you look at it from the legal angle. But what are the implications of this thing?
What other angle is?
Yes.
Yeah,
what are the implications of this thing to the politics? What are the implications of this thing to the anti-corruption war that Nigeria is fighting? What are the implications of those things? What is the signal that the Nigerians are sending to the international community about the issue of corruption? And you see the way and manner at which courts are making pronouncements these days is becoming frightening. You recall that even in the letter of President Obasanjo, he accused the president and the federal government of helping a murderer to evade justice, and that he was welcomed. So you begin to wonder, when the Bode George was talking, he thanked the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What is he thanking the president of Nigeria, of Federal Republic about? Is he saying that the President Jonathan influenced this decision? Is he saying that the federal government has a hand in this decision? But let me say this very quickly that...
no, probably if he thanked the president, it probably was along the lines of allowing the Temple of Justice a free hand to do its work without let or hindrance or interference.
In the first place...
That's my guess.
Yes, in the first place, even in a democratic setting, you don't need the interference of president or anybody for that matter to dispense justice. Justice should come, because we usually say that courts are the last hope of the common man.
There you go.
So everybody should allow this. So when you begin to thank people, even if Jonathan does not have any hand in it, people will begin to make a lot of interpretation into it.
Yeah, but to be fair,
yes.
the court is the last, hope of the whatever. Not just the last hope of the accused, but also the accuser, but also of the accused. And in this case, it went in favor of the accused.
Yes,
the state accused by the judge of corruption.
You have to live with that judgment, whether you like it or not. But what I'm saying is that I think the legal experts will go into this particular judgment and do a lot of studies for the future generation.
Do you understand it, Onyekachi, when we've heard it from you from the position of the law, and really we can talk about it from now till doomsday, it won't make any difference, it's done. Although now and again, okay, we don't, Privy Council, all of that doesn't exist anymore. This is the end. The Supreme Court is the last bus stop, right?
Yes.
Are you surprised that some people, non-legal minds perhaps, this sort of leaves something of a bitter taste in their mouth?
Well, even with the legal minds, it's not only with non-legal minds. As you rightly pointed out, this is a decision that will be critically looked into by legal experts for many years to come. Just like Amichi's case also is still being debated. Now, we must take this particular case in context. For the fact that the Supreme Court has given the final decision in this matter does not mean that people will not comment on it. We will look at what were the charges against Chief Bode George at the lower court. What were the charges? Was it charged for contract splitting?
Hello?
Or was
Hello?
No. It was not even charged for contract splitting.
It wasn't.
It was just particulars of an offense.
Yes.
He was charged for abuse of office.
Yes.
Are you following me, sir? He was charged for abuse of office, and then
With intent to be corrupt.
yes, with of course with intention, and then and then there was a circular that was issued, to Nigerian Port Authority that they should not engage in contract splitting. It was an administrative directive. Fine.
Administrative.
Yes, administrative.
And the Supreme Court has said unknown to Nigerian
fine,
law.
because the Constitution says nobody should be made liable for an offense that is not written. I mean, it's there. So if you're going to be convicted for an offense, that offense must be spelled out by law, and then gives the penalty if you disobey that particular law. But that is not what he was not charged for contract splitting. That is in law. When you bring a charge against an accused person, you charge him for an offense under a law. Then you can put what you call particulars of that offense, which is what that contract splitting was. Now, in the High Court and probably in the Court of Appeal, they were now alluding to the issue of abuse and said that by engaging in contract splitting, he has abused his office. That was their pronouncement. It's not as if that was a charge. The charge was not contract splitting, but rather he was charged for abuse of office.
Exactly.
But they now found out that in the abusing this office, what did he do? He now engaged in contract splitting.
Yes.
So contract splitting was not the charge.
And
so if you now make a pronouncement in the Supreme Court now saying that contract splitting was unknown in law, that according to the Public Procurement Act of 2007 was not in existence when that particular offense allegedly was committed, then there is a mix-up here, because that was not what he was charged for. Even though the Court of Appeal made a pronouncement about contract splitting, that was particulars of the offense, giving credence to issue of abuse of office that was the allegation against him. And so for the Supreme Court now to come up with that.
If I understand you, if he was charged with corruption, abuse of office, and the particulars of which one of the main plank was this contract splitting, if that's it, if contract splitting is like the explanation of the charge of corruption,
abuse of office,
abuse of office, then the court says contract splitting, what is so called? It doesn't exist to the law.
At the time, it was criminalized.
Yes, it didn't exist. So you, therefore, we have to throw it out that the man cannot be said to have been corrupt or to have abused his office if all you've got to show me is that he split up some contract.
No.
It's not like that.
You are mixing it up.
It's not that simple.
It's not that simple, because what you actually charge for is abuse of office, which is a criminal offense.
By the way, himself and four others.
And four others.
And all of them have been, all of the sentences have now been quashed.
And the court was now saying there was no sufficient evidence to show that even in engaging in the contract splitting, that he was a beneficiary of the proceeds. That is another thing, because improving in criminal jurisprudence, you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt, and give the court, a leeway to look at it and say, look, this man has committed this offense. So the other argument is that you have not proved that this money, that even engaging in contract splitting, that he has benefited from that. For God's sake, if I am giving a directive, I should not exceed 100,000 naira as a board member. Are you following me, sir? And then what I do now is every contract I say 50,000 naira, because in doing that I can do up to 600 or even 1 billion.
Yes.
But
so far
no one has
more than.
So what would be the intention of somebody that is under a lawful authority, to do that. If it's not, if there's no criminal intent, because I'm giving directive, don't exceed 100,000. But I engage in splitting the contract 50,000, 50,000, 50,000, and in doing that, I've exceeded 100, and there's several hundred. And then somebody is now telling me that I have not been able to prove that he is a beneficiary.
Mysterious.
And then within that time, billions, my Chief Yori, get this, billions of naira were frittered away under his own nose as the chairman, board chairman of MPA within that time. And that was put in evidence. And then he never offended the law, actually, by going beyond what he was asked not, but he was doing it through splitting. And then somebody now tells me there is no criminal intent. What could have been the intent in splitting this contract? In breach, even though not against the law, in expressly, but in clear breach
of the law.
So that is where that's where he's saying about this issue of fight against corruption. What would be the implication? Because if we begin to do this and bring all manner of technicalities in order to exculpate somebody we know has committed an offense, all under the name and altar of technicality, you are not encouraging the fight against corruption.
Indeed.
You are saying that you can breach this law provided that the way you do it does not in any way offend the spirit of the law.
Exactly. And if you get a smart lawyer,
if you get a smart lawyer, which is what they did. In any way, I look at the argument. The argument that we've been putting up was that Chief Bode George and all that shouldn't have been charged at State High Court. Because the body was a federal agency, and that's Nigerian Port Authority, that the charge would have been before the Federal High Court. I didn't see Supreme Court make any pronouncement concerning that, but I think they got it wrong. But that was the plan. That was the main argument of these people before the Supreme Court, before this issue of contract splitting now became the government, under which the Supreme Court now came to that conclusion. He never made a pronouncement as to whether the charge before the State High Court was wrong in the first place. But the point remains that we should not in any way use technicality in order to exculpate people who are, because if you are doing that,
I hear you.
The non-legal mind will leaves a sore taste in their mouth. And they are beginning to wonder, is judiciary really the last hope of the common man?
Exactly.
Raise that doubt,
Thank you very much, Onyekachi, because thank God you're here this morning to give us this detailed sort of insight into the whole thing. But Idowu, from a political point of view, Tunji Shele, the PDP chair in Lagos, he has, thank God, said that, look, now our traducers have been put to shame. The party can now get on with its business of taking care of business and, in particular, when the time comes, taking over Lagos, because people now see, light and all of that. Politically, how does this fit with political minds? And I know you associate with these people. What's the understanding in the political camp? What do they take out of this decision? That Bode George is, quite frankly, he's making a whole meal out of it. As you can see, he's been very philosophical over the weekend.
We continue to be philosophical. Did Bode George win his word in Ajanaku in 2011? Did he win in 1999? Even when he has not been convicted. So what is the political influence of Bode George?
Do you think this could show that he was witch hunted, hounded, persecuted by whatever political interest?
This particular case was prosecuted by AFCC, an agent of the federal government, in which PDP.
As you know, it was surprising that he was quote unquote given up to the legal process. It was thought not to be possible. In fact, it used to be cited that the PDP, just let matters be and let the law take its course in letting Bode George go. Many people were surprised that such a big man not only went through the process, was actually convicted and served the sentence.
What that is Nigeria for you. Many people have also done that. In this country.
But you can't equate the two.
I'm just giving you. I'm just giving you an example.
But whereas one was political,
yes.
And it's like saying that Mandela was in prison.
Yeah, but Bode George has always insisted that this case was a political one. He has always been insisted. But what we are saying now is that, look, the chairman of PDP in Lagos has spoken about the fact that the Bode George is back, but they want to take over Lagos. Well, the question remains the fact that where they are ruling, the PDP have been ruling in the other part of the country, even at the federal level, what have they done? Look, the fact remains that whatever being the case, whether the case is quashed or not, it has no relevance as far as the political equation in Lagos is concerned. Nigerian the Lagosians are.
Is Bode George a local? He was southwest. You've spoken about Lagos.
Yes.
First of all, do you think this is going to sort of give him sort of a comeback thing into politics? Because he went quiet after his conviction.
Yes.
And perhaps, I don't know if he was disowned by the PDP or not, but he went quiet. Do you think this will give him a new lease of life politically?
You see, the question is that look, the Bode George of this world, they don't have a vision. They don't share any concept of how Nigeria to move, how to move Nigeria forward. He was the deputy national chairman of the party in the southwest when they reached out the AD in 2003. They were there for 4 years. Some of them were there for 6 years. The question remains that why were they voted out in subsequent elections in the southwest? Look, we are saying it and I'm repeating it again that the question of Bode George's conviction has no effect as far as any political is concerned in the entire southwest.
Okay, one moment. Let's hear it from Alhaji Sulaiman. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning to your guests.
Yes.
From getting started by the question of the Bode George conviction. I think we looked in, and the judgment that we read in the paper on Saturday, they said contract splitting, one. Secondly, they said...
Could you speak up a bit, please, Alhaji?
One, they said contract splitting. I could read that in the paper. And secondly, they said intention to defraud, that the prosecution counsel should have made sure that they come up with the evidence that there is an intention of defraud in the case. Let me just forget that the Supreme Court has made this pronouncement. Let me pass to Chief Bode George on his phone. Mr. Idowu-Ajanaku was talking about his credibility or his influence or maybe his impact in politics in Lagos State. Don't let us forget our memory. The letter that Chief Olusegun Obasanjo wrote to the president recently said, in his letter, he said Lagos State was negotiated out to opposition. Not even the opposition won the party. And secondly, even 6 months after the general election in 2011, a local government election was conducted under the worship of Lasek. And the place Bode George lives in Ikoyi, Ubani Koro, won that local government. Even that local government is where the leader of APC also lives. PDP won that place. Bode George won his polling booth, won that local government. Don't let us politicize everything. For God's sake.
Okay.
Good morning.
Okay. Thank you very much, Alhaji Sulaiman. Yeah. I don't think we need a one-on-one. It's like, let's hear
no,
you.
He mentioned about the fact that in the letters by the Olusegun Obasanjo that Lagos was negotiated in 2011. Let me tell you, everybody knows that in 2011, one of the best governors that ever emerged as far as Lagos is concerned is Mr. Fasola. With the kind of level of work that the man has done, if the man has gone to any political party, for that matter, he will have still won that election. So that letter that Obasanjo wrote that Lagos was negotiated is just a pure fallacy. And let's not debunk this allegation that Bode George won Ikoyi. The case was taken to the court. The case was quashed. If PDP could not win Lagos, when Obasanjo was the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is it when Lagos had been turned around that they will come and win Lagos in the local government election in 2011? It's just a trash.
Before I come to you, Onyekaki, let me take Reverend Dominic from Alimosho. Good morning, Reverend Dominic.
Good morning, Yori. How are you today?
Just Yori, thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning, Barrister Ubani.
Reverend, I am very loyal.
God bless you for that divine truth. Let me put the Bode George matter and the El Mustafa side by side. I have not got the judgment of Bode George, I will got it clear. But I have read the judgment of a two court for Mustafa. One reason the case was to become this, that the bullet that killed Kudrat was not found. Sir, if somebody shot me and the bullet fell away and I died, does it mean somebody shot me? Now this is the kind of judgment we have today. And my brothers have told them how to do it. One day, we will hear how Bode George was free. Let me say this, I do for information. Military has failed. We're not looking at military today. Politicians has failed. PDP years had changed their story. And I would say legislators have failed, and the judiciary is failing. If all of them fail, we are going to somewhere. And that place won't go get to it. But I pray we don't get to it. We'll be so bad. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Reverend Dominic. Onyekachi, rule of law, everybody, that is what civilized people do. They subscribe to the rule of law, and the rule of law has been allowed to take its course in this case. Now, when the Supreme Court pronounces, any court for that matter, whatever they pronounce, especially when the matter has been signed, sealed, and delivered, becomes a precedent that is referred to subsequently. Yes. Okay, let me just change my line of thought. I was going to ask something about that, but I just remembered I wanted to ask you, now that it's been quashed and it is deemed not to have happened at all, and so from a legal point of view, the man is as clean as you are. He can stand for office, he can do all the rest of the things. Right. But he has paid a debt to society that he did not owe in the first instance. So what does the law say about, is he going to be compensated? The man, 30 months of his life went, and the Supreme Court has pronounced it should not have gone that way. So what options are open to the man now for the states to now compensate him for their mistake?
Yeah, well, it's not automatic. He still have to go back to the court.
He has to go and apply.
Yeah, you have to go back to court and say he has been wrongly prosecuted by the agency of the government, of course, EFCC. Is the one that took him up, and then succeed in convincing the court that he shouldn't have been charged in the first place, that there was no proper investigation done, towards the allegation against him.
No, sorry. He doesn't need to persuade any court anymore. He just simply hands them the Supreme Court something that the Supreme Court, your order has pronounced.
You still have to file it, and then,
have to go through the lower process.
The entire they wouldn't just pay you compare, unless the president just wake up tomorrow and well, the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria is capable of anything, but I think he still has to go through the judicial process and then get the court to make a pronouncement as to compensation. And then it's not automatic. Okay, you still have to prove that particular prosecution was wrong. Even though the court now has exculpated him, you still have to, the onus of proof still lies with the man who has been discharged.
Okay, I'm going to come back to that. Adeniro, thank you for holding on from Maryland. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I think this is a legal something, a law something. We that we didn't understand much about law. The barrister there has spoken, and I think on this program we need lawyer Festus Keyamo to come and shed light on how the case started from the lower court up to the Supreme Court, so that we know where we can make a contribution. Either by the right or by the left. I think we would like you to please kindly invite Barrister Festus Keyamo to your program, so that we, the public, can know where we are going from and where we are coming from on this issue of Bode George. Don't let us be right or being left.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Adeniro. But you see, the matter is, it's signed, sealed, and delivered. It's finished. It's done with. It's now a matter of public record. The Supreme Court has pronounced is the end of the matter. Bode George should never have been convicted. Therefore, it has been quashed. In other words, everything that went right up until it got to the Supreme Court was wrong, and in law, it became a nullity. I hope I'm borrowing some of the terminology accurately.
You're almost becoming a lawyer, using the right word.
So I understand, well, there's nothing Keyamo can say, or any other person for that matter, except to, unless you just want an opinion. And so we are just sort of looking at it with, a prominent legal officer to give us sort of perspective on it. And you were saying that, again, the way the law works, there's nothing, like if Bode George keeps quiet about the matter, that's it. He just keeps on living his life. The state is under no obligation to say, like, look, because of this thing that we did to you in error, vicariously, therefore, here is 25 million, here is 100 million, or here is 2 million, depending on the status of the man.
They shouldn't, because they have not done it to every poor man that have been wronged in this country. I mean, a lot of poor people that have been convicted. Go to prison today. The Chief Judge of Lagos State, her Lordship, Justice Ayorinde Phillips, have been going to prison regularly to release many inmates
who
there
are
not who are.
Okay.
There was a particular case. Somebody was in there for almost yes.
I have Eniola on the line. I don't want to lose him or her. Good morning, Eniola.
Sorry about that.
Too late. I'm so sorry about that, Eniola.
We have many people who have not even convicted.
Yes, awaiting trial.
Awaiting trial for, there was somebody for 10 years. Somebody 15 years wasted. And all that. We've had cases now where people have been listening. So the government automatically compensate. So why would they automatically? So if he
but
has,
as you said, awaiting trial has not been convicted.
they have not even been convicted.
No, but the person who has been convicted,
yes,
his name has been smeared.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's even worse for somebody who has not been convicted, who has spent 10 years in prison.
No, that's
are you following me? He has not been convicted. No trial has ever taken place. But in the Chief Bode George matter, there was a trial, and a lower court pronounced him guilty, affirmed by the Court of Appeal, now quashed by the Supreme Court. So the point that there was a process, there was an institution that put him behind the bars at the point, and it was recognized by law at that point. So I think those who have not been convicted should even be the one to be compensated.
Okay. But feelings are mixed on this. Kayode, thank you for holding on. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, please, I want to, before all these things what you are talking, apart from the judgment or the court, this and that, why is he thanking President Jonathan? I want you to discuss that one particularly, because you have separation of power, judiciary, legislature, and the executive. Why is Bode George thanking Jonathan for exonerating him from the court? That is what you have to discuss. I want you to discuss that topic seriously before you leave the station. Thank you very much.
I think the man should have given us a clue what he thinks, why Bode George himself was thanking the president. But he said that
because the only person who can really answer the question is
Bode.
Commodore Bode George
but
himself.
he said the reason why he would thank him. He said he's our political leader.
Okay.
President Jonathan is the political leader of PDP. Now, if Chief Bode George is a member of PDP and has been exonerated by judiciary, under a PDP government, that is somebody that is the super natural head of the nation. And that is President Jonathan. So after attacking his wife, who has been very resilient and very cooperative and faithful throughout all the Travel, the next person that was online was the national leader of PDP, and that is President Jonathan. So President Jonathan is in a better position to be thanked by Bode George. That may be I am hazarding the guess that it may be because the man is the national. He said it there. He's the national leader of a political party that is in power.
Okay. Idowu, do you want to read any more than that into it, especially coming on the heels of Obasanjo's letter? As you know, Obasanjo's by now, the scathing letter he had done the president had alleged that the president wasn't committed to the war against corruption. It is unfortunate, perhaps, in the circumstances that this coincidence goes and happens, which to a lot of people is leaving sort of mixed feelings. That are the legal minds, such as Barrister Ubani, who has explained it from a legal point of view, but clearly you can see he says he's baffled as well.
Well, don't be surprised. You also saw that in the letter to President Olusegun also wrote that the presidency,
after your view,
is helping a murderer to evade justice, and that the fact the presidential welcome team was arranged for this murderer. He didn't mention the president before. I didn't know such person either. But he also the fact also remains that if simultaneously a person that has been convicted of corruption is also thanking the president, no, there is more than to mean the eyes.
A witch cried in the night.
Yes,
and the baby died in the morning.
That is the morning. So that is why we say, look, the last time I was in this program, I did say that, look, all these things that the President Olusegun are just written now, it's not new. It's not new. All Nigerians know about this thing, and that's why the chief minister.
What is new is that it is coming from within.
Yes.
Okay. Let me take Yakub, who's been waiting for a while. Good morning, Yakub. This is your second time this morning. Go right ahead.
Good morning, Chief.
Good. I don't know about Chief, Yakub.
Barrister already gave you that, and then we are bound by the law.
Thank you very much.
You see, Mr. Henry, this country, I was so, sometimes when I think about this country, sometimes I share the same. Reason is this. Why this Mr. President of our country, you could have leave former governor of Delta State, or what's it called, Alanivia, to go to the same true process. He was not leaving him, he just go ahead and pardon him. I give you kudos to Bode George. for him to summon the courage and go extraordinary mind for him to pronounce otherwise. Are you getting it now? Come to letter of President Obasanjo Yori. This kind of thing cannot happen in the United States of America. Why am I saying that? If somebody in the United States of America gets up today and writes the same letter against President Obama, bet me on you, Mr. Yori, Obama will come out second day to defend that letter. What happened for Mr. President to keep mute up to this moment? Not to even come out, not to speak, and not sending an aid to us. Ruben Abati, and then the horror of the truth, to telling us other truth. Mr. President should promote courage. He should come out defending the letter one by one. It knows that he has no any secret in his cupboard.
Okay, Yakub, thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling in. Now that you've veered the conversation to former President Obasanjo's letter to the sitting president, you recall, and gentlemen, I'm sure you also know that in the immediate aftermath of the letter, the president is reported to have directed all his aides to hold fire. Nobody is to say anything. I will speak when the time comes. And the reasoning behind that has been, I think, the president listening to counsel, don't worsen matters, don't join issues with President Obasanjo, let's look for a way to sort of unify, all that. Go ahead, Idowu.
Look, this is the first time in this...
So the president is being circumspect.
No, this is the first time in my life that I will see what I call a sticker written by a former president to a sitting president or anywhere in the whole world. And up to now, the president has not summoned courage to reply that letter. Particularly, President Obasanjo alleged that snipers are being trained, in which the president will unleash in 2015. It's a very serious allegation.
When you use the expression has not summoned courage, the president, according to Ruben Abati, is taking his time, is to be measured, and it's not the same as, not summoning the courage.
Let me say this very quickly, that in a nation, the life of a nation, 1 minute is like 100 years. Look, when a serious allegation of this nature are made against the sitting president, if that government is at alert, I don't think that within 24 hours, you should not look at those allegations and reply. Look, if a city president alleged that you are training killers against your own people, it's the worst allegation that can be made against the president.
Yeah, but I understand, I was reading in the press that part of it has been debunked. They have actually spoken against.
By who?
By the presidency. The presidency has said there is no such thing.
No, I've not seen that. I've read the only person that have reacted to this allegation is Dr. Ruben Abati. I've read his statement all over.
Let me come back to it. Jesse came on the line from Ikeja. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning, Mr. Yuri.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you. I just want to contribute to this program, President Obasanjo's program. I just want to ask a simple question. Is Obasanjo the owner of this country, Nigeria?
Jesse, I know the conversation has veered there, but we were actually looking at the quashing of Bode George's conviction.
Okay, Bode George.
The quashing of his conviction.
Bode George, since at the first time, for the first instance, what was he convicted of? Now, the Supreme Court just came out to say that he's not guilty of anything, that he has a died case. Why? At the beginning, they're saying that in every rumor, there is an atom of truth in there. So, for the beginning, why was he convicted? Then why would, for like how many years now, the Supreme Court just come and claim the case? They should investigate that man very well, because I know him very well. But the judge is very trickish and deadly, that man. So that's why I just
it's unfortunate that you expressed that particular opinion, but you said you know him very well. Nevertheless, he's not here to defend himself, so you got that one by, but it's not our style. We do like people to sort of understand that in as long as the person that you're going to denigrate is not on set to speak for himself, we sort of hold fire. The very way President Jonathan has said, all my men hold fire.
Like I said, but that's a part. But let me say this very quickly, that I've read the letter all over and all over again. There is no thing that President Obasanjo raised in that letter that he himself has not committed as a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The 16 billion naira that went into the power sector, the way and manner at which he uses library launching to corner money from this country, the killing of Bolage, the Kubo. Many people were killed under this man.
Okay, you see, we've gone to this letter, and I understand it. This Obasanjo letter is very much in the air, but I sort of wanted to give it a bit of a rest, if at all possible. It will keep on, coming out through the seams like smoke. I know that.
Yes.
But let me take Toby, who has called in. Toby, Bode George's conviction. Any political, significance from your point of view to this?
Good morning, everyone there.
Good morning.
I'm not surprised a little bit because this was the same man that came out and he went for a Thanksgiving service that was being conducted under a pastor. Yes. But I was very, very disappointed when I discovered that the Supreme Court, which is supposed to be a house where we all run to for safety, will be the one to come up and just blew everything off. But that does not change the point of view that he's an ex-convict. That name still goes with him, even though he's an ex-convict. But the idea and the idea, I think he has political influence. We all know that our president at the highest state has sponsored corruption to an unprecedented level. So this is just an effect of what he's good at doing. So it's not new. It's not new. But it's painful because gradually our strength and our dignity is winding off gradually. And I shake my head at the future. I just hope God will deliver us. But you guys are doing a great job, at least. Once we can discuss it, we have hopes that one day they will have years to year and just change for the better.
Thank you very much for calling in, Toby. But Onyekachi, where this does interface with Obasanjo, but not necessarily with his letter, is the fact that Commodore Bode George retired and General Obasanjo retired. We're very, very close. In fact, the president, because he was in the good books of the president, he was quite influential. And then it went bad. He has had reason to speak about the relationship going bad. So it seems to me that this acquittal of Bode George is, quite frankly, when it happened on Friday, if Obasanjo had not had breakfast, it would have spoiled his breakfast altogether.
I'm sure about that. Even though he attended the Thanksgiving service when he came out of...
He was duped into attending it. Remember?
And he said
he was duped into attending it.
Bode George is celebrating criminality.
Yeah, but he was there. He was there. In fact, this is even time for Bode George now to hold a proper Thanksgiving service because the other one was when he came out of. Yes. Now that he has been acquitted and discharged and acquitted, he cannot be called ex-convict. If any person does call him that, he is defamatory, he can sue. Yeah, because in law, in the eyes of the law today, Chief Bode George is not
exactly. So contrary to what Toby said,
he
cannot be seen as an ex-convict anymore. He referred to him as an ex-convict.
Ex-convict, okay. That may be a right one. But the point is that the man is not an ex-convict, and the Supreme Court has said so.
And quite frankly,
I am going to make a statement as issue of our institution in setting correctional standard for this nation. Why Nigeria is what it is today is because we have not laid a solid and a proper foundation, and that's why everything is going haywire. There's nothing that is working very well. So if our institutions are not working and setting correction, then it then means that we remain in this darkness for a very long time to come, especially when that institution is very important in the life of a nation, especially judiciary. It's very, very key. The legislature is very, very key. Then the executive arm of government and other agencies of government.
Indeed.
We must begin to set a corrective.
I want to thank you, Boyega, for holding on all that while. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Ayoli. So, sometimes it bothers me so, when I listen to programs like that. The PDP, to me, is a party that is drowning now, and they are holding on to anything to just ensure their existence. It is very clear that PDP is losing a very mighty figure like Obasanjo in the Southwest. But unfortunately, they think if they can retain somebody like Bode George, it can hold forth for him, which is very, very, it's a dream. And like my friend and colleague said there, Ajanaku, what Obasanjo wrote in his letter is something we all know. There is nothing strange there. There's no news there. The only thing there that I can say I can reckon with is for such information to be coming from somebody like Obasanjo who may get what he is today. So it is a confirmation of a house in a very terrible crisis and a house at the brink of collapse. Because even if any court today say Bode George is guilty, in our minds as Nigeria, we know he's not. And he is in prison as we speak, in our minds, even though he's walking free. I want to assure today that what they are doing today, that they think they are having free day, is like preparing people for a very terrible challenge against whatever they are holding to their chest that they want to do to thwart or to skew the coming election to their favor.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I've got to let go of you now, but I really thank you for calling in. The Obasanjo letter keeps on going in and out of this whole thing because it's the big political topic of the moment.
But another thing that we must also look at this issue that, if you know, last week the APC raised an alarm that this federal government has procured a judge to declare the seat of the governors that have decamped to the APC. They made that allegation, which I think Nigeria must not treat with levity.
But ID, I hear you.
Yes.
But I don't want you to go there because there's so many topics on the political horizon. In fact, the one I wanted you to...
I'm just linking it with this Bode George case. With
do the link quickly because I can't see the link.
Okay, the link is that you can see a case that was tried at the lower court that was affirmed at the Supreme Court, at the Court of Appeal, and had not been quashed at the Supreme Court. You look at the case that was convicted. Look, just like the last caller said, everybody knew the role that the Mustafa played under the General Abacha's government. We don't need to be told.
Okay, one moment. Let me take Ndidi from K2. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Barrister Ubani, good morning. Please, I want to be very brief, but before I ask that my question, please, Mr. Yori, maybe you people need to set aside time to be receiving our calls. It's unfair for you to be keeping us on the line for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. It's not fair, please.
Okay, thank you very much for calling in. Quickly.
I want to quickly ask the Barrister Ubani. When I heard news concerning his release, there was a statement that was made. I don't know whether I'm the one that is, I'm not a lawyer, I know no book, but they said there is nothing like that in law. So I want to ask, does it mean the judge in the first instance, the first court, the second court, until they go to this place, does it mean these people are ignorant of the law or what?
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Ndidi. Thank you very much for calling in. As you said, you wanted to be brief. You have been brief. But let me quickly address the point that you made. We don't like holding on to calls that come in. But oftentimes they come in while a point is being made. And you yourself, I don't think, would be very happy if we were to just cut somebody mid-sentence in order to answer a call. Sometimes, for you to understand it, the idea has to, so to speak, land. And that's what accounts for. And so we try to cut away as soon as possible. But again, your point is taken. Gentlemen, we just got a couple of minutes, about 5, 8 minutes now. And I wanted us to look at the people from Bode George, I see that people have been trying to link the Obasanjo letter. Let me go to an aspect of it. Opposition APC has asked the National Assembly to actually go ahead and impeach the president based on what is there. Now, that's probably opposition language for go ahead and discuss this and debate it thoroughly. If need be, it will lead to impeachment and all of that. The presidency has not found this funny at all. It's been referring to it's been using quite heavy language, including, I think, treason, that this is almost treasonable. So both of them are throwing language to each other.
Yes, even people, I heard a lawyer this morning saying that what Obasanjo wrote was also treasonable, and so the Obasanjo should be charged for treason. So the word treason now maybe has become their pastime,
It's become pure water.
It's not something you just wake up and then begin to charge somebody for, you must have evidence the person wants to overthrow your government. Now, if they say impeach, it is in the Constitution.
How to impeach?
Yeah, in fact, it's the National Assembly that does impeach. They're supposed to impeach the president, and so it is in the Constitution. And so, if they will ever find out, because it's the majority political party that is in power now, that the president has committed an act that they consider to be gross misconduct, there is nothing stopping them, but it will be very, very difficult.
Okay. Let me take Mike. Good morning, Mike from Ikire.
Oh, we lost him.
Mike, I tried though, but
I think the tragedy of this press statement that was relayed by the presidency is the one that's signed by Dr. Ubani, one of the greatest writers of our modern time from the Guardian newspaper. That is unfortunate that Dr. Ubani, with all his antecedents, at what he has written in the Guardian, could pen his name on the letter on the statement, calling a statement under a democratic rule a treason. It's the greatest tragedy that has ever befallen this nation. And you see, look, not like I've always said, we don't have another country. This is the only country that Nigeria has. This generation and the incoming generation, yes, we don't forgive the present Nigerian leader and those of us who had the opportunity to speak the truth and keep quiet.
Okay, one moment, please. I don't want to lose Madam Caroline that has come on. Good morning, Caroline.
Hello, good morning, Yuri.
Thank you for calling in.
How are you? Long time. Welcome back.
Indeed. Thank you.
I think I should be giving a preference, being the only woman that called into this.
Please go ahead. Take the preference. Take the preference.
And I should. Okay. Good morning, Barrister.
Hello, Madam Mensa. Is it Mensa or Caroline?
Madam Caroline.
Oh, Caroline, sorry.
Okay, my contribution. We know the truth. When Nigeria was shot during the Madiba flying in states, as a patriotic citizen, I felt so bad. I felt very, very insulted looking at the contribution of Nigerians. There's this song that always comes to my mind. I was very young then. It was sung by Onyeka, Winnie Mandela. Winnie Mandela, Mother Africa, fighting to be free. But looking at this judgment, I don't feel bad anymore. For how long are we going to disgrace this nation? We all know the truth. I don't know the people that are in the Supreme Court, but we know that there is corruption everywhere. It's just like a film that I watched. There were two lawyers. One was an activist, since he was in his 2 days. The other one was a lawyer, Carigo. They call him Carigo for the politician. It was a Ghana movie shown on, I think it was a station. Quite recently, the two make sense. One was an activist, always standing for the truth. The other is politician Carigo. So what am I saying in essence? Just like somebody called it, we know the truth. We know that Bode George, all these things has a political undertone, but will not continue to be in prison. Freedom has come. We know we are going out come 2015. Whatever they are doing, we have it. We are no longer docile, like my barrister used to say. We are no longer docile. Our vote, we can't. Whatever they do, Bode George, forget about Lagos State. PDP will never, and never again come to Lagos State. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Caroline, for calling in. Idowu-Ajanaku doesn't need to say anything because Caroline just said it all, so there's nothing you're going to say. Well, she even said never 4 times, so there's nothing, Idowu, there's nothing more for you to say. But going back to this, we cannot impugn any kind of notion of corruption on the Supreme Court. They have done their work. The judiciary is free. The judiciary is free.
Yes.
So they've done their work. They've done their work freely, and they've come up with this. And because there will be decisions like this that a lot of us don't understand. It has also been, it's in legal folklore that the law is sometimes an ass. And so it has carried out, it has delivered this particular statement. A lot of people are feeling, as we say locally, one kind about the whole matter. But there you are.
My view is this, we need not to be emotional. We need to look at that judgment, in an unbiased manner. Are you following me? So that it's a judgment of the Supreme Court, and of course, as I said earlier, they are supreme because
the highest court in the
land. They are supreme because their decision is final. You can't appeal it anywhere.
And you said there, so there's a panel. How many of them?
7.
There are seven of them.
7 of them.
So there's a majority.
If it's constitutional matter, about 5. I think it's 5 that usually sit for normal matter, and 7 if it's a constitutional matter. But the point is this. We need to be dispassionate in looking at it and then make a fair criticism, not attacking personalities and all that. Where did they get it wrong? Did they get it actually right? If the lower court, found abuse of office and saying that the particulars is that by that contract splitting, it wasn't the charge, and that must be distinguished because what they were making a mountain of in the Supreme Court was that the splitting of contract was never known to law. That it came in 2007 under Public Procurement Act of 2007. That is what they were saying. But the time he committed it wasn't an offense. But we are saying that was the particulars of the offense. That what he was actually charged for was abuse of office. But the particulars of offense was that he split. There was a split of contract. So I don't know how the Supreme Court now said it was a split of contract that was the main charge, and now said that it was unknown in law, and you cannot criminalize an offense that wasn't written down. So that is the decision on that. We can't. We can't say we can't overturn it now, but the point is that we have the right to say we don't feel comfortable, and especially in the mind of the non-legal mind. We must build a system in this country where we must be against corruption. Because what Nigeria is undergoing today is that corruption has really retarded our growth. We are not enjoying anything whatsoever. The infrastructures are dead. Nigerians are not enjoying any dividends of democracy because of corruption. So there must be that anger. Anger in the mind of judges, anger in the mind of pastors in the church, in the imams in the mosque. Everyone must be angry against the system in order for a change.
Thank you very much, Barrister Ubani. Idowu, hands now. Bode George has been legally cleansed. But you probably, I'm sure you agree with Madam Caroline, who said that it's not going to happen, at least in Lagos, that she knows. That's her own personal opinion, that Bode George's party is not going to have any...
I think that's a done deal, because even when PDP was very strong, he couldn't win Lagos.
Okay, we've got to leave it there, because we've completely run out of time. But thank you very much, Idowu-Bode, observer and commentator as well as analyst of political events. And thank you very much, Barrister Monday Ubani, for giving us this perspective and letting us understand what some of the issues are. To really understand them, we'd have to take a degree in law. But in the few minutes,
and 5 years.
But in the few minutes,
I think 1 year in law school, 6 years.
So thank you very much. Okay, that's our program. Thank you very much for joining us and for contributing to it. Join us tomorrow for a fresh edition of the program. I am Yoli Folani. Bye-bye now.